What's going on, everybody? It is I, Will, your host again this week for the Marvelite podcast, and we're episode 132, I believe?
Something like that.
Something like that. But with me, I have my regular co-host consisting of Luke.
How's it going, everyone?
And this week, he finally returns, the mage of the Great White North. It is our boy, FailWill34, a.k.a. Mikey.
What it do, ski? Glad to be back, everyone. It's been a little while, Marvel Yeet.
So, y'all ready to get to the controversial part of the show?
Always, brother.
All right, let's go deep into this. So, within the past 2 weeks, a lot of discussion has been going around because Black Panther has apparently been nominated not just for one, but for 7 different Academy Awards. It's up for 7 Oscars. It's up for the Oscars for Best Original Score for Ludwig Göransson, Best Original Song, All the Stars by Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Best Costume Design by Ruth E. Carter, who I think CJ interviewed when the movie came out last year. It's crazy to think it's been almost a year since Black Panther came out. Best Production Design, Best Sound Editing, and Best Sound Mixing. What do we think about these nominations?
Ooh, okay. There's so that's a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. 7 was a surprise.
Yep. And I'm just gonna say, like, I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this. I don't think that it should have been nominated for Best Picture.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say I don't think it should have been nominated for nothing. Best Picture was absolutely a surprise.
Do you guys want to go like one by one, elaborating on our
Yeah.
thoughts about it?
We can. Just I guess give your part, and then you can start us off with I guess we can talk about Best Picture, and we can just go down from there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I was in class, actually my world cinema class, when they announced the Oscars. I was like going through it. I'm like, oh my god, who got nominated? And I was really surprised by a lot of the choices. Mm-hmm. And Black Panther, like, hats off to them. I really, I rate them, especially not just one nomination. 7 is really surprising. But for the Best Picture, I was surprised. I personally don't think it should have got Best Picture nomination, but I can understand the perspective too, but for me personally, I wouldn't. With other films that came out of the year, I think films like Searching, Hereditary,
I heard Hereditary.
A couple others I might have put in that slot, and even films like Vice, I'm a little surprised with that choice as well. And Bohemian Rhapsody too. So
I'm surprised that Green Room got nominated for Best Picture too. I didn't see it, but it was just like the reactions I heard to the film were that it was very good. So
it's not just that film in particular I'm surprised about, but the Oscars in general this year.
Yeah, the nominations this year
I don't think Black Panther should get that one. Although things like what was original score, totally think that one was like justified. Mm-hmm. Even though I could see the argument for it being Best Picture as well, but just for me personally, I don't think so.
Yeah. So okay. So we all basically agree. We don't believe that it was maybe Best Picture material. That's not to say I didn't enjoy the film. I think it's a very good film, and as a black person, I really appreciate what it did in terms of representation, diversity. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed the story. I think it was a good story, great acting. I would not put it in Best Picture. However,
I'm gonna not personally put it in Best Picture for one reason, and one reason alone.
What, the effects?
Battle rhinos.
The effects.
I can't.
Battle rhinos can net you Best Picture. I don't think this was it.
Where were they in Infinity War? Apparently they didn't need them then. But no, I think that Black Panther is a fantastic film. I personally don't think it really deserves Best Picture. I think that there are better films that would deserve Best Picture over Black Panther, but Black Panther definitely deserves something, and I can definitely see it go for like soundtrack. Really, I mean, it had a fantastic soundtrack.
Well, the soundtrack was good, but I mean, like, the actual score.
Oh, the score of the film, yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, because I love Ludwig Göransson as a composer, and I was telling you guys, he's the guy. So he's worked with Donald Glover. That's how I know him. Like earlier in his career, if you know, because of the internet. But he also did the soundtracks for the Creed movies, which are also very phenomenal scores as well.
Oh yeah.
And I saw a video. See if you can find it somewhere, where he breaks down his composition for the type of music, and he talks about the African influence as well as like the 808 and hip hop trap beats that he used. And I think it's just it is a very original and creative score. Like, it's not just the traditional strings and percussion, but he mixes in a lot of that African culture into it by going to that country, learning how the instruments work, and using it to how it's supposed to be used. Apparently, like, you can hear T'Challa, and I'm like, that's beautiful. So I think it does deserve Best Original Score. Original.
Yeah, also, there's also the other nominations it got were production design, costume design.
Costume design, I can agree with.
Sound mixing, sound editing.
Yeah.
Those are really random. Those are really, really random.
Sound editing and sound mixing came out of absolutely nowhere. Those were entirely random. They were throwing nominations at
Also, why are those categories?
I mean, those areas deserve credit.
It's like, how crispy can we make this sound? But yeah,
no, I think those are justified categories.
Yeah. I think they're justified categories, but throwing Black Panther in, like, say you have a movie that really utilizes, I guess, silence or footsteps or something, or like the crackling of fire and stuff like that. Well, you can do that to set atmosphere and tone. I think they're valid categories. The nomination for it doesn't make any fucking sense, because I don't think there were any moments in Black Panther that involved too much of the subtlety that is incorporated by sound editing and sound mixing. Not to say that those jobs aren't important; they are. I don't think.
Hey, man,
is the nomination for it.
You know, PA jobs are really important too.
I mean, they are. For sure.
Seriously,
Kevin Feige was a PA.
He was for Sony for Avi Arad, and it's like when are PAs, man? When are they going to get nominated? When is there going to be a category for PAs, huh?
We might have their own little award ceremony, but I can give it best costume design because there were some beautiful costumes. I still stand by my theory that the tribes were based off the Divine Nine. If you know what those are,
see, costume designs were, I think, pretty fantastic, but the overall set designs, to me, I feel like they could have improved on. Because, like, there were some things that just kind of, like, really stood out and was, like, really off. And I'm like, okay, there was a lot of scenes in the movie that were really beautiful. Like the cinematography was great. And then, like, there were other times where I'm like, I felt like I was watching a 3D animated movie.
Why not nominate it for cinematography? Because it has some very beautiful shots in it. Like, that shot where Killmonger's walking towards the throne.
Yeah.
And it's circular. That's a dope-ass shot. That throne room in general is, like, a good... Like, I think I agree with you, Luke, it's kind of mixed, where the production can be really good, like seeing the city, seeing the throne room. The casino itself is very, like, creatively designed and how the colors pop on the characters. But that's more of a mix.
The chase scene, too. The chase scene was pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way that was lit. But then at the same time, you have, like, the open fight in the fields of Atlanta. With the battle rhinos. Mm-hmm. And then the fight with the magnet trains underground. Literally an underground railroad.
The magnet trains were pretty terrible. And I mean that, like, wholeheartedly. Like, no one in their right mind can can actually defend that, because, like, it doesn't
it's an even okay scene.
No, no.
It had issues.
Dude, especially if you slow it down frame by frame, you're like, my God, this is terrible. And I mean, I can say the same thing for about a lot of.
I think they won Best Effects somewhere recently, or got nominated.
I don't know why, because, like, because, like, honestly, the effects weren't all that terrific throughout like a good chunk of the film. There were chunks of the film where it was really good, and then other chunks of the film it looks like, wow, you guys really skipped out here on post production.
I don't think they skipped out. I honestly think that it was a resource allocation because Infinity War came out 3 months later.
Oh no, it was. It totally was. They had to shift a lot of different things, but dude, it's like, man, that
they didn't expect it to do as well as it did, and so they're like, yeah, well, you can save a little bit of money and just, that last fight. I just don't like. This is going back to an old argument. I don't like the over-reliance on CG overlays on costumes when the costumes they have are really... Like, have you seen Killmonger's actual suit with Michael B. Jordan in it? It looks cool. You can see the leopard, like, patterns on it. But then you see the CG version and you barely see that, and it pisses me off.
Wasn't...
Yeah.
Now,
I think
was it
I think
originally?
for me,
Wasn't it supposed to be a white and gold suit, like originally?
No, that was I think that was like a prototype or something like that. I know the picture you're talking about. But what were you saying, Mikey?
Yeah.
No, I think for me it just boiled down to I just thought Black Panther in its entirety was just a good movie.
Yeah.
But it for me it wasn't. I didn't find it to be like anything extremely exceptional. For me personally, I thought it was really important. It was great like from a cultural standpoint and to see myself in the film and I think its impact was really big, right?
Yeah.
And I could see people arguing that's why that in addition to other things is why it deserves to be a best nominated picture. But for me, I just wouldn't put in that category.
I wouldn't put it.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't put it in the best picture category for its cultural relevance. That's
I wouldn't
not
either.
That, and I think that I truly deep down believe that alone is why it is nominated for best picture.
I think
people could argue. Yeah, you could argue
Yeah.
that people are just. You could say that they're just giving it for it just because it's
I'm not
for that reason.
No, I think that it definitely deserves to win a few things. I'm not arguing against that. It's just that to me it wasn't the best picture, and I don't think by any means was it the best picture of 2018. And I hope that the reason why it wasn't nominated, or the reason why it was nominated, was just because of look how ethnic this film was.
And like honestly, the reason I think it got pushed to that Best Picture nomination is because remember early last year how they tried to create a separate category for like most popular film, and we knew it probably is because of Black Panther. And
yeah.
but everyone's like, well, that's a stupid idea, and the Academy's like, yeah, no, we're not really going to do something like that, but to like compensate, they gave it all these nominations, including Best Picture, since they couldn't give it like most popular. And honestly, it wasn't. I love Black Panther. I think it's a great movie culturally. I think it's a very good superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's a very well acted movie. There are aspects of it that I think could be nominated for the Academy Awards, which I brought up, but it wasn't even the best superhero movie of 2018. You could give that to either Infinity War or Spider-Verse.
Yep.
Or Paddington 2. Paddington 2 was one of the greatest films that have come out in the past 2 decades.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just going to say this just because I want to. I still firmly believe that Annihilation and Sorry to Bother You were snubbed for Academy nominations.
Annihilation
those
deserves
movies
something.
Were phenomenal. Say what?
I was going to say Annihilation deserves something.
Annihilation.
Well, there were just so many great films that came out in 2018 that I thought might have been recognized that didn't, and I think could and should have got recognized.
Like Black Panther was good.
But it's not just Black Panther 2, right? Like what you were saying. I think Bohemian Rhapsody confused as to why that's even in the picture.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have put it as if you want to nominate a Marvel movie for Best Picture, if you wanted to nominate a Marvel movie, but then that's a whole different argument of why that. I'm not saying it deserves it, but I'm saying if you had to compare the two.
Dude,
on a side note, though, I think we should also appreciate that from a comic book perspective, that a film is actually being recognized by the Academy.
Yeah, that's true, because that only happens every now and then. And
yes,
it's usually for minor
Suicide
shit.
Squad won an Oscar. So.
Yeah, for best, what was it, makeup?
Best makeup or costume design, I forget.
Which I was like, get the fuck out of here. You know what they gave it to it for was because of Killer Croc.
What? No, was it Killer Croc?
It probably was.
I don't think it was Killer Croc. It might have. I think it was for Harley Quinn, actually.
That's even worse.
It was actually, because I remember the memes. The memes, my god. There were so many memes because people were comparing other films that had way better costume designs.
Yeah, they did.
Because honestly, Harley Quinn's costume design was really simple.
I also don't like her costume in that movie, but that's a conversation for another time. Also, the thing we didn't talk about, Best Original Song. Why All the Stars?
Oh, yeah.
That's a weird... I like that song. That's a weird pick.
I think that there were better songs on there, but...
Yeah, not King's Dead. I'll say that, because fucking Future's first. La-di-da-di-da, da-a-mi-na,
that's what we thought about, the Oscar nominations in general and Black Panther specifically, but what did y'all think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think it should have gotten nominated? Do you think it shouldn't have? Let us know.
Yeah, I know, we're kind of going over here, so...
Yeah, sorry we didn't get to fully answer everything, but we got to start on it. Maybe we can come back. Maybe we can revisit that as a topic or something sometime. But if you do have a question that you think we can answer potentially in 30 seconds or less, drop it down in the comment section down below with the hashtag #AskMarvelite. And so, fellas, where can they find you at, Luke?
You guys can find me on Twitter at QuantumXParadox.
Mikey, where can they find you at?
Y'all can find me over on my YouTube channel, Twitter, and Instagram at FailWhale34.
And you can find me on my own YouTube channel, as well as Instagram at Will the Greatest, where I just recently posted a shit ton of Kingdom Hearts stuff, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is out, and that's what I'm going to do after this. So, you guys have a good week. We will see you next time.